Hey everyone, I decided to do a quick video about 3D printing and talk about it a little bit, give a little update on some things that I've been working on, and show you some of the new products that I've got, and answer a little bit of some of the questions that keep coming up when people talk to me about 3D printing. So I'm sporting my brand new 3D printed tie bar that I had designed recently and had 3D printed in metal. It's printed in steel with a nickel finish, so it's pretty nice. I think it's up for sale right now. If it's not, should be by the time you're actually watching this. So it's been great. So I'll go through, show you a few of the things that I got, that I've been working on, and a few things that are already up for sale on my site. One of the first questions that I get all the time from people is whether or not I actually own a 3D printer. So the question, or the answer to that question, is that I do not own a 3D printer. When I first started out, I was designing my own jewelry and things on the computer, and then I would send the file to shapeways.com. Shapeways is an online 3D printing service where you can get a lot of neat things done in a variety of materials. So I was doing that. I'd send something off to the printers and I'd get it back, and usually have to tweak it a little bit and then send it off to the printers again. And it's a very lengthy process, but Shapeways has some really great industrial sized printers. They have the big hefty $1 million printers, which I obviously can't afford or maintain on my own. So it's nice that I can send them out to them. But more recently, I actually borrowed a friend's 3D printer, a desktop printer. It's a different type than what they have at Shapeways. So this is nice because I can actually print something off right after I finish designing it and just kind of look at it. And although the printing quality isn't as good, I can at least get a feel for the size, the shape, and how it looks, and that sort of thing. So the way that this printer actually works is it has a spool of plastic right there that feeds into a little nozzle. And then as it prints, the printer lays the material starting with the bottom layer, and it just builds up, kind of like when you ice a cake and you have a piping bag and you just move it around back and forth and build on top of itself. So yeah, I've done a few high-speed videos. Hopefully, I got one up right now. You can see the way that it starts from the bottom and it works its way back up to the top. And it's not completely accurate. It is decent for doing prototypes and things like that. But what's really nice is after I do a prototype, I can look at it, see if I need to change anything before I actually send it off to Shapeways in New York City and have them print it out. So a great example of this is I actually did a couple of new tie bars recently. This one right here, I did as a little airborne tab for a tie bar that slides onto the tie. So I printed this one out here with the little desktop printer using the flimsy plastic. You can see that it's obviously it doesn't have a nice finish or anything, but it helped give me an idea to see, how it would fit on my tie, whether or not it was too big or too small, and if the letters were legible or not. And then after I was able to do that, then I could actually print it out in material from Shapeways. So I sent this to Shapeways, and they printed it in stainless steel with a nice nickel finish on it, so that it looks really great. And this can slide onto your tie, and can't do this right now because I only have one hand, but you can see that it can slide on and it looks pretty good. So it's a nice little product. So if you look at the prototype versus the finished product side by side, you can really tell how the desktop printer helped give me a feel for how the product would look before it was finished. And I could go in there and make some needed changes and make sure that it was what I wanted before I actually sent my file out to Shapeways in New York, and had to wait all those weeks before they could print it out and ship it back to me. So that's the difference right there between the desktop printer and the big expensive industrial printers that you can use metal with. So it's been a great resource to be able to help me as I make things and kind of perfect them a little bit more quickly before I actually send them off to Shapeways. These are some examples of the products that I started off selling that I've really had a lot of success with right here. So you can see just the nice details that you can get in metal. You can do a lot of cool stuff with it, and different finishes as well. If you want to do like a gold finish or a black or a gray finish. And this was something that I played around with a few months ago. Thought it'd be fun to do. This is actually in plastic from Shapeways. So you can see the little pattern right there. That's off of Star Wars, if any of you are big Star Wars fans and you know what that is. So that was something that I thought about doing and putting up online, but I haven't got around to it. I just didn't know whether or not there would actually be a demand for it, so I'm kind of sitting on that one for now. When I started off at Shapeways, one of my favorite things was the ability to do interlocking parts with plastic, and so that's where the rock crawler came in right here. So this was printed, completely assembled with its movable parts and everything, with all the wheels turning and the suspension and everything like that. So it was really neat. And when I originally designed this, Shapeways charged the cost of printing it by the volume of material that was used. So you could see how I really hollowed out the wheels and made it a wire frame to decrease the cost on that. But since then, Shapeways has changed their pricing, and I believe it was just because of the cost to clean very intricate parts such as this, and so the cost drastically went up. And before that, I was actually working on a few other things. I was going to do this new design right here that had some independent suspension and these Omni wheels. If I could get an example of how they actually turn. So pretty cool design, but just because the pricing had changed, it just wasn't cost effective to go on and pursue this one anymore, and there wouldn't be too much of a demand for it. I was also working on this ping pong shooting gun right here with this spring. So these were all printed completely assembled, which was really neat, and that's what I loved about Shapeways at first starting off, and that was kind of my little niche into the 3D printing market, was making mechanical models and things like that, which were really cool. But I guess you could say my market and my audience has changed a little bit, and I've gone back to doing more jewelry and stuff. But this was a neat little thing that I did for a little while, and that was a gentleman that I met in Pennsylvania who was retired and was dumping a whole bunch of money into a model train set in his basement. I think he said he was planning on spending about $100,000 on this elaborate train set where everything was supposed to be from a certain time and place in Europe. And so all the trains, cars, trolleys, everything had to fit within that timeline. Nothing could be, newer or appear more modern than that. And so he couldn't find a lot of the shells for some of his trains and trolleys. So he hired me to design some of them. So he sent me the blueprints, and I was able to do this. So this was printed off at Shapeways using their frosted ultra detail. So it was a really neat experience to be able to do that as well. So that's a little bit about what I've been doing with 3D printing and my experience with it. So go and check out some of my shops. I have an Etsy page as well, and the link will be down below for that, so you can take a look at that. But it's been a lot of fun being able to use the desktop printer here to do some prototypes before I actually send them off, and it's been fun. I've been able to do a lot of different things, just kind of explore what I'd be able to make before actually sending it off to the printer. So make sure you subscribe to the video, check out some more stuff that's going to come around pretty soon, and see you guys later.